ex-girlfriend spoke about this, and she alleges that when it comes to Shannon Sharpe, she said, "I want people to understand what Shannon Sharpe did to this woman. That was horrifying and everything because there was a lawsuit back with Shannon Sharpe back in 2023 of the situation. But the thing is, I also found this gentleman. I also found that let me put it up here. It is that Shannon Sharpe ex-girlfriend. This came from Shannon Sharpe attorneys. So the statement is claiming that his ex-girlfriend, what was her name, Michelle, was obsessed with him, and right now she is still on probation after serving 3 years in prison to try to kill her husband so that she could pursue a relationship with Shannon Sharpe. So that came from Shannon Sharpe attorneys and everything. So even though the ex is trying to speak against Shannon Sharpe, she got some skeletons in her back of the story because he's trying to, take out her husband while dating Shannon Sharpe. So it looks like people that we might, even though there's an open move for Shannon Sharpe, we're saying that more stuff come out, and it's more likely that we might hear more allegations from Shannon Sharpe past might be coming out as we heard today with Shannon Sharpe ex-girlfriend. So go ahead, Ronnie, man. What's your take on this?
That's exactly what's gonna happen. And I told Hakeem that on the previous show. Because he was trying to settle the $10 million. Now a lot of these women gonna come out forward and they're like, okay, I see this is a money opportunity. They're gonna go see Tony Busby, and they're gonna try to put cases on him all over the place. That's why I think now it was the best thing for him to actually do step down from ESPN, because more allegations are gonna start coming out. And it's sad to say that we live in a world like that, that you can't focus on one thing. That when you try to focus on one thing, other things start to happen while you're trying to focus on that one thing. Shannon Sharpe made a terrible mistake. Everybody already knew by making by dating that woman, a young woman at that. I think he's gonna learn from this situation, but his past is gonna come back to hunt him. Sadly to say, will he win this case against this young lady? Yes, I think he's gonna win victorious because the lady don't have enough resources to even battle against Shannon Sharpe. However, other allegations are gonna start coming out. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get that $100 million deal. That's the problem.
That's over with. That's done. That's done. You're gonna have to rebuild. He still got Shay Shay. He still got Nightcap. But Ron, you dropped a quote last show. You stated this. We all stated. You mentioned what I said previously. This would have never happened if he was married.
Correct.
This would have never happened if he practiced discipline. This would have never happened. It doesn't matter if he was bunny hopping. Let's just be honest about that. This could have happened with any woman. You feel me? When you're a powerful man and you're making money, your image, the way you speak, you're a public figure, you can jeopardize the bag at any moment. You got to keep yourself. This is why having a strong woman on your team will stop you from getting caught up with these Instagram models, snow bunnies, harlequins, these Iron Maidens, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. If he was married and stayed with his baby mama, we wouldn't be hearing about this. When the last time you heard something about Denzel? Vin Diesel, J. Cole, Wale. I can go. There's names of dudes who lock it tight and just say, man, I'm good. I got me a queen. I don't need nothing else. It's not all that serious. You don't got to bust a grape or a bust a cherry in everybody.
Yeah. It's when it comes to him being in professional television, it's not really looking good for Shannon Sharpe. Even though he stepped away from ESPN, I don't think, if more stuff come out, I don't think he's going to come back. That he's going to come back to First Take. He said that he might come back when the season starts, but it's just not looking good because if you look at the history of how he left certain situation, when he was in FS1 with Undisputed, that he got allegedly fired because the situation that happened with the Lakers game with last year with John. It was like early last year with John Morant going at John Morant, the Grizzlies team, and also John's father and everything. Which FS1 looked at that terribly, and that's why the reason to let him go. And then before that, he was CBS Sports. I think it's CBS Sports NFL countdown. This was back, like 10, 15 years ago and everything. And they had I don't know why they let them go, but they had let them go as well. It's just, what it shows, like, being, Hakeem said, being a powerful man, you build Nightcap, you build, Club Shake Shape, because you're a great entertainer, Shannon. I like you, and he's coming here Los Angeles in July, the Nightcap, because they're doing a tour, and I'm going to see him. But, and also the stuff that he says about, that I like becomes relationship and everything. A lot of people's like, well, listen to him because we can't take him seriously, Shannon, because the stuff that's coming out with you, with this woman and everything, and it's just not a good look for Shannon when it comes to him being professional to television and everything. And he just need to be wise. He's almost 60 years old. He has 2 hip replacements and everything. And like I say, he's a Hall of Famer. One of the best timers who ever played a game. He just has to be smart with it and everything. And when it comes to this, I think he's going to settle with the woman because it's likely a little bit more stuff to come out. We found out that he likes BDSD sex or something like that, which is like bondage and all that type of things. we found that out, so we know about that. And we hopefully another woman don't come out and say, hey, Shannon was like this. Hopefully Michelle don't come out and all that type of things because, like I said, I like Shannon Sharpe. I think he's a really good entertainer, but it's just not a good look that, you messing with these women, and you're doing, and then reading the text messages of what you're kind of doing with these women, even though it was consensual. They could turn it back on it and make it and go to Tony Bus and say, hey, he did this to me and everything. And they got, the recordings and they got the text messages and everything. And the legs video that's supposed to be out too, that they might come out in the next week or so, something like that. But yeah, man. So Shannon, man, please do right. You lost your money. You lost $100 million deal. I mean, you didn't lose your podcast and everything. You still got that. Both of those make about over $1 million a year of the podcast you got. So
Correct.
Shannon, man, just build what you keep continuing to build. You got the fan base. A lot of people loves you and everything. This don't get any more situations. Get married. That's what I got to say. You get married, you won't be in this situation. But if you're going to keep doing what you're doing, a lot more stuff going to come out like this.
So the problem with because just they say because I say he's gonna become victorious out of this case. She said nah, she disagreed with that. The thing he have the power of attorney. One thing about these wealthy men, when you have a power of attorney and they know the other counterpart, the defendant don't have a power of attorney, chances are you're gonna lose. To me, for her to be victorious, she should have just went ahead and settled when he offered the $10 million. Tony Busby would have got 30%. Shout out to DJ Vlad. He wrote that on his Twitter. Pretty much he broke down everything. Tony Busby would have got 30% of that, and she would have walked out with $7 million. Now she got to deal with the lawyer fee, and she got to deal when Shannon Sharpe criminal sued because she just pretty much discriminated his character.
I mean, and that's the thing about being greedy and everything. We see that Shannon Sharpe's getting
She should have settled
a deal, but my thing is, ma'am, all the information you came out, we're not taking it seriously, man, because you have sex with this man over 100 times. Even though he said he was doing the things, you kept going back. You kept going back. You kept
Yeah,
going
because
back.
the lifestyle, people don't understand the BDSM lifestyle. I did some research about it. It's called submissive and the master. All those other
Right.
things come to aspect when it comes to BDSM. That's why I say he's gonna win because
Exactly.
they know it's a lifestyle, and she made it seem like it was such a vicious thing. I don't know, but he did lose that. I don't know, Hakeem. He did lose that $100 million deal. He didn't really speak about it, but right now it's on the hush hush. But Jordan might be right. He must have lost the $100 million deal. Sadly to say. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Don't forget to hit that notification bell on the right hand side so you know.